All right. We are at a new volume. Yeah, volume 3, The Dark Knights. So you might notice there's a couple of differences here. So first, I'm including the name of the volume because these volumes have names. We should learn them. We should know them. And you might also notice that it's reading number 18, Jack the Ripper and Zeppeli the Strange, but not Jack the Ripper and Zeppeli the Strange Part 1. And you see, so these chapters have different names in the Weekly Shonen Jump, like Chapter 19, Part 2 of this arc is called the Miracle Energy in the Weekly Shonen Jump. But in the US, not US, in the English volume releases at least, they're all changed to like so and so part 1 through 69 or whatever. And I just think that's stupid. It's like, okay guys, Youth with Theo, part 5. It's yeah, that's the name of the chapter. And it's like what a name. What a name. Why'd you name my sister Rose? Oh, because your mom likes roses. Oh, huh. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, no problem. Dio's World, Part 16. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna include both names from now on, cause it deserves both names. But anyways, enough of that. We're gonna get to the chapter itself here. So we got a cover page with Jonathan, and honestly, he's looking kind of hot here. Like he's got his chest partially exposed. He's got that right arm outside of the border. Yeah, he's got a cool hat, some sort of pins in it or something. Looks like he has like a playing card in the hat. He's got this what do you call it? It's like this glove gauntlet disc thingy. It's got something cool on it. It's got this feathery thing on it. That looks cool. He's got a cool belt. Gotta like the cool belt. I like his shirt. His pants. Yeah, he looks great. He looks really great in that one. So, we go to London. There's some narration talking about Jack the Ripper, who at this time was an unknown person. And he cast the entirety of London into an abyss of fear. The ultimate serial killer. And it shows this headline. So, in this version, it's completely fine. Jack the Ripper strikes again. But in the original Japanese, it reads, Jack the Ripper does again. Which I just always thought was funny. Yo, guys, look! Jack the Ripper did again! But if we actually take a closer look at this newspaper, as far as I can tell, it appears to be in Italian. Which, yeah, I mean, I'm no linguistic expert, but I guess that's how it looks. I wish I could tell you what this is saying, but, it's an example of Araki's love for Italy, I guess. Because, I mean, like, this is targeted towards Japanese people, so, like, they're not all going to be able to read English. Like the headline being in English, that makes sense. It's England, literally England. But, like, a Japanese person could see all that Italian text and probably not think much of it unless they, like, really, really take a look or whatever. But anyways, got this couple in London. The girl's like, oh, no, it's this late already? I gotta get home. The guy's like, what, really? This early? Come on, let's go somewhere else. And then the girl talks about Jack the Ripper, who is this serial killer who goes around and kills girls with, like, a surgical scalpel. And the guy's like, oh, that's horrifying, huh? Don't be silly. After all, you've been talking to him this entire time. And so the guy, he pulls out his scalpel. It looks pretty cool. Pretty cool looking scalpel. I like that. It's got that little jagged edge to it towards the hilt. Yeah, it looks great. And, yeah, he goes and goes to kill her, and like like look at her face. Is that does that suggest terror to you? And more so, like if anything, it shows me like a somewhat small shock. I guess I've never really thought that facial reaction was very warranted. But yeah, he goes and kills her, and then who appears on the scene but Dio? He's in a wheelchair now, and he's got Wang Chung, and they both look like they've seen better days. Wang Chung does not appear to have pupils in this panel. I mean, his eyes are pretty squinty, but I'm not seeing any pupils or anything. But yeah, Dio, he's still weak from the fire incident. Jack the Ripper's like, oh, holy shit, where'd you come from? Dio's like, I like you. And Jack the Ripper, being a serial killer, is like, you saw me, I can't let you live. And then he goes to, like, stab at Dio's face. Like, he makes, like, a bunch of really fast stabs. And why wouldn't he just, like, grab Dio's head? Like he grabbed the lady's head earlier. Why is he just gonna stab a bunch of spots on his face? And I don't know. Yeah, so it doesn't really affect Dio, of course, and he's surprised by this, but I feel like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's perfectly fine this way. As weird as that sounds, maybe it's perfectly fine for it to go down this way, because, like, I don't think a normal person could get stabbed that many times in the face and appear okay like that. But at the same time, that seems like a weird way to illustrate Dio's virtual invincibility, so to speak. But anyways, the guy is shocked, and Dio's like, I will need servants from here on out. Servants that are faithful and easy to manipulate. And yeah, we got a cool close-up shot of his face, his eyes. Yeah, he's not looking great. He's not looking great. And he's explaining that he needs like a bunch of life force, not from just like one or two people, from a lot of people. And then he thinks to himself that at the last moment there was a pillar that fell on him and destroyed the statue. And, like, he scrambled inside of the broken pillar so he could protect himself from the fire. Well, points for creativity, I guess. Sure, why not? Just have a pillar crash into him, have him crawl right into it with a donut, stomach. Yeah, just have that. Do that. Then we got these two panels. It's like Jack the Ripper's eyes and then Dio's eyes, and they're kind of like opposite of each other. It's just kind of cool. And Dio's eyes, they have like this sort of lightning effect on them, I guess, to show that he is starting to captivate Jack the Ripper. And Dio explains, most humans have hearts bound by good. They are unable to take drastic measures. They fear what is spectacularly evil. However, very rarely, there are those who aren't constrained by good. The evil elite, like myself and you. How about it? Will you become my servant? Jack of the Darkness, will you pledge allegiance to me, Dio? And then we see Jack the Ripper, he's kind of considering it. Dio says he can give him incredible power, and that it will allow him pleasure beyond anything he has ever experienced, and that he will have no more worries. Yeah, before I get too far, so back at the pillar panel, he mentioned something about, He needs more human life, and he needs it from women. Yes, I must suck out the energy from fresh. I'm not even gonna finish that. That just sounds disgusting. Like, it's probably just thrown in there to make us, well, remind us that he really is a dick, because, like, aside from him just, wanting Jonathan dead in the Youth with Dio arc, we didn't see much of his personality, mainly those two fighting. But, it's a nice reminder, I suppose, but, like, ew, that is just disgusting to read. But anyways, Jack the Ripper goes, he kneels before Dio, as Dio holds out his fingers, and there is this look on his face, and I'm having a really hard time trying to interpret it. It seems like he could be reluctantly doing this. There's like a certain sadness, as if he's about to abandon something. Even if he truly does believe that Dio can offer him all those things, I like it. I like it, though. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like it. It provides some depth. Maybe the last tiniest bit of his humanity is shining through here. But yeah, we cut to Jonathan. He looks really good. Like, look at that. Look at his hair. That is great hair right there. That is some really great hair. But anyways, Jonathan is back at the mansion. He's thinking to himself about how only him and Speedwagon know the truth of what happened at the fire. And he's back at the scene of the crime because he's trying to find the mask. And optimistically, he would like to believe that it got crushed in the rubble somehow, but he really just wants to verify for himself. And he's got this little number on. He's got like this handkerchief thing in his neck, some sort of maybe necktie. He's got a vest on. It's cool that some of his clothes ended up surviving in the fire. Like, that would have been really tragic if those got burnt up. And we see Irina. She's got another dress on. She's got a cool little collar going. It looks like there's a very, very tiny bow tie there. And looks pretty good. And she's coming to Jonathan to give him his cane, and then they go walking together. And oh wait, there's this guy. This is the man, the myth, the legend, William A. Zeppeli. We are finally getting to him. So, a thing to note about his design here is that he does not have his trademark checkerboard hat. He has like this, swirly rainbow-like hat, which is only in this chapter. Well, technically it's in the next chapter, but when it appears in the next chapter, it's a flashback back to this first day. So that's something, but this is a manga-only hat. And it's kind of a cool one. Right down by the brim, it's got some little ornamental-looking thing. Looks nice. I like his tie. It's got a really cool-looking tie. And, yeah. I feel like this scene does a good job at capturing how goofy of a guy this Zeppeli is. And so he appears again. And, Jonathan notices that he's been following them for a while. And, Zeppeli's like, Mr. Jonathan Joestar, and the lady must be Miss Irina Pendleton. And then he does this thing where he, jumps while he is in sitting position. He jumps while he's in sitting posture, and he goes right for Jonathan, and he says, "You've done well to survive the power of the stone mask. Unfortunately, the mask and the man who wears it is still alive." And then he takes his pinky, goes pow, and goes right into Jonathan's lungs, and it gets him. Jonathan and Rhea are both flabbergasted. And he's like, that's right, let all of the air in your lungs out. Squeeze out every last cubic centimeter. And Reno's like, oh, how could you? He's an injured man. And he's like, oh, well, he won't be able to breathe for a bit, but it's fine. He's good, don't worry. And, yeah, this thing is happening to his arm. And, yeah, it ends up getting healed. He feels no more pain in his broken arm. And he says, my name is Baron Zeppeli. You cannot overcome the power of the stone mask with courage alone. The pain is gone, and your breathing took it away. I am your ally, Jonathan. And that's the chapter. So yeah, I feel like that's a pretty fun introduction to a character. It's this strange-looking funny man. He jumps while he's sitting, and then he does something that ostensibly looks like is hurting Jonathan, and it heals him. Like, I can imagine that threw a lot of readers back in the day for a loop. Like, oh wow, what's this guy? What's his deal? Yeah, probably sparked some discussion a bit. Yeah, we got a doodle Jonathan. He's got some sort of thing on. It looks like it could be like some sort of headscarf or something. He looks good. He's decked out. He's got like looks like a bow tie. He's got those gloves with like the little thingies on the knuckles. Those look good. Those are a series staple. They are good. But yeah, overall, it's a nice chapter. We get to see what Dio is up to. We see that he is still doing things, that he is by no means a compromised threat. He is gaining power. He is still vulnerable, but he is gaining traction, which is important to see. And so I did this thing with Chapter 9, first chapter of Volume 2. And it's because of this hypothetical. So, imagine you're in a bookstore, you see JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Volume 3, The Dark Nights, and you're like, oh, that looks kind of cool. You're kind of thumbing through the pages. The thing is, it's a Volume 3, but Volume 1 and 2 are not in the store. But you really want to check it out. So, let's say, hypothetically, this chapter is your introduction to Part 1. How easily would it be for you to be able to pick up the story and the characters and the scenario? Well, let's find out. So we start in London, and it's talking about Jack the Ripper. That already sets it in, like, old-timey London. Like, I don't know if the average Japanese person would know, oh yeah, Jack the Ripper was a 19th century English murderer. But they see that, they can see, like, Big Ben, all the old-timey aesthetics, and they can instantly know, okay, this kind of takes place a while back. But, yeah, we got the scene with Jack the Ripper. He goes to kill her, and then we get to meet Dio. And, yeah, you wouldn't be sure what happened to Dio, but he's injured. He mentions as such. He mentions that a thing happened, and because that thing happened, he survived. It's the pillar falling on the statue, breaking it. And yeah, we get actually a pretty good glimpse at what his ideology is, Dio's. Because he's like, most humans have a heart bound by good. And we got a really good couple of blurbs kind of explaining how Dio sees good and evil, and that he thinks evil doers like himself should be free to do as they please. We see he has some sort of power to manipulate this Jack the Ripper, and asks him to join forces. And overall, it gives this sense of mystery to Dio, especially with, like, the cloak he's wearing. It really, yeah, it shows there's mystery about this guy. You're not really sure who or what he is, but he's probably no good. And that's when we cut to Jonathan. He mentions only Speedwagon and him know the truth of what happened that tragic day, and that the police think of it as a terrible accident. And we get a lot of information from just this page. You see, okay, there's a house. It's kind of beat up, so there's a bunch of rubble. And evidently there was some sort of struggle here. And that this guy, Jonathan, and whoever the Speedwagon is, are the only ones who actually know what happened. And he mentions Dio, so yeah, we now know that this guy and Dio are connected in some way. And Jonathan brings up the mask, and he can't find it. So now we know there's a mask that is important somehow. Then we see Irina. We know Jonathan, at the very least, has someone who can be there for him. Then that's when we see Baron Zeppeli, who is a new character, even for readers who have been keeping up. And he mentions both Jonathan Joestar and Irina Pendleton by name. So we know this guy has done his homework. That he knows who these people are. And, yeah, we see the him jumping in sitting position thing. And he mentions that he has done well to survive the power of the stone mask. So we know the stone mask, we know a little more about it. We know it has a power. And he says, unfortunately, the mask and the man who wears it is still alive. So there's a man who wore the mask and may have gotten the power from the mask. So, we already know that the mask can probably do something that can grant certain powers to people. And that this man could very well be the Dio guy we saw before. So he goes to hit Jonathan. And, Jonathan is clearly injured. I kind of glossed over that. Jonathan's clearly injured, so we know that he was involved in this. But anyways, Zeppeli goes to do the thing where he shoves his pinky in Jonathan's lungs. Then Jonathan heals, so we now, this guy is an ally, and he wants to help Jonathan fight the Stone Mask and Dio. So, yeah, I don't feel like it does as good as Chapter 9 did, but it's still pretty good. We still get a good feel for where the story is, what's going on with the characters, and yeah. But anyways, I think that's a wrap. That was, yeah.